In this next installment of Ask Kerry, In Young asks, my question is, why do men have so many good options to choose from and then decide not to settle down with any of these exceptional women who have more than likely done the work to heal and get past their trauma?
Great question. This is easy. So imagine going to a store, a high-end store, has all these great selections to choose from, and you're broke. That's the problem. A lot of men have all these great options, but they're broken. So it doesn't matter, you could be the greatest candidate of all times, but if he's broken, just like going to that store, he can't afford you, meaning he can't afford to mess you up. You can't afford to get messed up. So just because they're a great option to choose from, if he's not ready to choose or he's not healed to choose, it's just no different than going in and trying to buy a $2,000 shirt and you don't have but $10.
So, Kerry, is it fair to say that when men are not healed or they're still broken or they haven't done the work to heal, their picker is off?
Very much so.
Just like women.
Just like women. Think of it like this. Who you are sick is not who you are healed. So what you would pick when you're sick, more than likely you would not pick if you're healed. So if you've done the work to be healed, ladies, and he hasn't, then he's going to pick that, which it's like a person who's sick picking something while they're sick. They're going to make bad choices. It's like picking when you're drunk. You're not going to make that choice. Or you wake up the next morning going, woo, who are you? But last night you looked like, Halle Berry. Today you like Barry White. So with that being said, I'm just saying. So his picker was off. So you don't want a man picking you who picker is off. He's not healed because you're going to get hurt. So there's no need of you doing all the work. He's not healed. I don't care how fine he is. I don't care how much money he has. If he's broke internally. And so he can't love you with a healed heart broken.
So what if a lady meets a man and, he just hasn't really been on a healing journey, or that's not on his radar, or doesn't even really know anything about that? Because let's be honest, it's only the last couple generations that therapy and healing work have become more, mainstream and normalized. So if a man is willing to do the work and he's willing to heal, is he a viable option for a woman who's on her own healing journey?
So willing to do with his mouth or willing to do with his actions, that's a different story. Because a man will say anything to get you. Yeah, I'll do the work. I'll do it. But you have to let him do it, see him doing it, and then proceed forward with the relationship. Because if you just say, I need you to do the work, he may go to one session and say, hey, I'm doing the work. A man has to do the work whether he gets you or not. Because it's not about you. It's about him. His healing is about him, right? So if a man feels like he has to do the work just to get you, when he no longer sees any value in you, he no longer sees any value in doing the work. And that's not how you should do it. Doing the work is not about getting a woman. Doing the work is about being whole and happy for yourself. So that when you do get a woman, you can enhance her life as she enhances yours.
So is it fair to say that men will, when they want a woman, they'll do whatever she requires or whatever she wants, but once he gets her is where it can get tricky?
True. That's why he has to do the work for himself. Now, don't get me wrong. Women will be an inspiration to do the work, right? It's always a prize at the end of the race. But at the same time, if he's only running to impress you, but he's not running because he's a true athlete, then he may give up and say, I don't have the mind to race anymore. It's all about how your mind is, your mental space, right? Healing is mental. You have to know that something's wrong with me and I need to change. And, getting you or not getting you, that's just the cherry on top of the milkshake, so to say. But at the end of the day, I got to do work for me so I can be healed for me, whether we do anything together or not. So it can be an incentive, but it can't be the full contract.
So what are some of the pitfalls that you've seen women and men fall into when you try to pull someone along to be healed, or you're trying to put them on your back and carry them, or they're not carrying their own weight or pursuing their own solutions and healing for themselves? What happens to the men and women who do too much or ignore the signs and keep trying to love someone who's broken?
You're going to wake up one day and say, the hell with this. I'm out. I didn't sign up for this. Because in our minds, we have a time limit of how long we're willing to invest in you changing, right? Let's be honest. We don't say it, but there's this quiet clock ticking. And if, it's been a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, and there's been no change, one morning the burdens are going to cause that person to look at you and say, you're not worth the investment. A relationship is an investment. Just like if you invest in property, is it worth the investment? Is the price you're going to pay worth the investment and the investing that I'm going to do? So the investment has to be worth the price. Let's be honest. Healing and getting in a relationship, there's a price that comes with that. It's not like you take someone on and, because let's be honest, people meet someone because they're beautiful, they're handsome, and they think about, I wonder if they're good in bed, are they sexy? Can we do this? After the sex is gone, after the thrill is gone, and you left with this person, fine people don't look as fine as they used to when you wake up. Think about it. He can have all the muscles in the world, but if he's crazy, he's just a crazy muscular man. If she's fine as wine, but crazy, she's just a fine, crazy, you-know-what woman. And so there is a time limit, believe it or not, there's this clock that ticks in the back of our mind of how long we are willing to keep going through this before we see significant change. That may be gradual change. And that's another thing. You have to ask the question, what are you looking for in this person? Is it gradual or are you looking for significant? Because if it's a significant change, maybe this investment is too costly. Maybe the person, maybe you're trying to date potential. And that's the problem. A lot of people are looking at potential, but you're not looking at actual, right? It's like when you see a house, you want to do a fixer-upper. The house has potential, but how much is it going to cost you to fix this house up? You may say, well, it's not that bad. You're looking at the structural damage. How about the foundation could be cracked? The foundation could be lifted up. The foundation could be to where the whole house is sitting on basically nothing. So the house, no matter how good it looks, if the foundation is not solid, the house is not solid. And that's the problem in relationships. A lot of times we're judging a person on their looks, but their foundation is jacked up.
What are some of the pitfalls of very loving, especially people like us, as empaths and very loving and caring people? What would you say to be careful of when you're getting to know people? How do you avoid falling for potential?
Was it Freddie Jackson said nice and slow? You take it nice and slow. You get to know the person for who they are, not their potential. You get to know their family, because a lot of who they are is a transaction of their family and the inheritance passed down from customs and traditions. So get to know their family. If they have children, how do they treat their children? Are they close to their children? Do they love their children? Or do they consider themselves to be a baby daddy? And that's all. Because, you have to make sure that your values line up. Make sure that what you love. And if you love family, you make sure they may even like family, may even like children. Here you are wanting to have children. So if you take it nice and slow, and don't be afraid as you get to know the person to ask the hard questions, right? Don't assume. That's the biggest problem in relationships. People assume, right? They're good, so I assume they knew what to do. Some people don't know what to do. So you have not because you ask not. So you need to say, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Good example, when Rebecca and I first got together, we got together. We sat down and had a heart-to-heart conversation about what do you like? How do you do money? Do you like sex? Do you like family? Do you want more children? Do you love God? I'm a pastor. Are you going to be out here dancing on tabletops as a first lady? These are the questions that, we talked about. And I remember when I first saw you, Rebecca, I didn't think that we had anything in common, because I went off of a look. It was after we got the conversating that I found out you were a PK. I found out you grew up with a prophetic gift. I found out all these things. You love family. You love unity. So it was like, wait a minute, what? So you mean the diva really is like down to earth? That's and so it helped me to really exhale. Still have to do the work, but I knew that the commonality that we had was going to work because of the backgrounds.